Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the F.A.N Show. I'm your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the home of all things football and nonsense. And what you are listening to right now is the maiden voyage. We embark on a new journey. This is the first of our series specials with the College Gridiron Showcase, CGSAllstar.com, as we begin the official countdown to the big college event. Now, what this is, the College Gridiron Showcase, we are official media partners with CGS. Jose Jefferson, who's been sort of a show veteran, if you will, has made several appearances, met back in the days when I first started covering the Indoor Football League and other leagues like it. This is his thing. This is Jose Jefferson's project. Now, of course, he does have partners and staff and everything, but this is sort of his version of the show. Like what the show is to me, CGS is to him. So he has brought this thing from its infancy, and here we are now going into its fifth year. 5 years later, we are 57 days away from the 2019 College Gridiron Showcase, and we here at the F.A.N Show could not be more thrilled for the privilege and the pleasure of being a part of this journey. Cannot wait to go down to Fort Worth, Texas, and see this thing unfold firsthand. These specials, they're going to be 30 minutes long. We're going to get a little bit of a behind-the-scenes sneak peek at what all goes into this, why it's so important, what its purpose is, and just, really anything and everything. I already talked with Jose. These are going to be pre-recorded specials that will premiere every Thursday in place of our normal new episode time slot, Thursday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So if you're a fan of football and all things happening with especially the future of the sport, this is going to be a great listen for you. So before we get too far into it, I do need to let you know that these episodes, these 30-minute specials, are brought to you by KT Tape. What is KT Tape, you ask? Well, KT Tape is an elastic sports tape designed to relieve pain while supporting muscles, tendons, and ligaments. How does it work? When an area of the body is injured through impact or overuse, the lymphatic fluid builds up, causing inflammation and swelling. This accumulation of lymphatic fluids may cause increased pressure on muscles and tissue, which can cause significant discomfort or pain. It is believed that when applied correctly, KT tape lifts the skin, decompressing the layers of the fascia, allowing for greater movement of lymphatic fluid, which transports white blood cells throughout the body and removes waste products, cellular debris, and bacteria. Now, why should you use KT tape? Well, I can tell you one person who did use it, and Jose Jefferson actually has a story about that. He wears number 12 and resides in Foxborough, New England. Now, KT tape helps reduce pressure to the tissue and may reduce discomfort or pain. Correct taping also provides support to muscles by improving the muscle's ability to contract even when it is weak, and helps the muscle to not overextend or overcontract. So you need to go and check out KT Tape, and that is KT, just like the word Katie, but shortened to K as in kilo, T as in tango, tape.com. If you're an athlete, this is probably a must-have in your sporting or athletic arsenal, if there is such a thing, but in that little case that you have there. So these episodes, these specials, once again brought to you by KT Tape. Now there's a number of other sponsors, but they've specifically requested to be on the episodes here that we're doing for the CGS. What is CGS? College Gridiron Showcase. 26% of our players that received opportunities are on NFL rosters. Only 4 teams do not currently have a CGS alumni on their roster, and that is 2.87% of the NFL players are CGS alumni. Overall, CGS alumni are on NFL rosters right now. So this is the first post-college combine-like showcasing of skills and talent for college seniors. So once football's done, this is happening, okay? Because I believe the last championship, in fact, they're going to be showing the national championship while we're down there in Fort Worth, Texas. So all seniors that are looking to put more on their resume, that are looking to get more tape, film, and really anything experience. They want to have some one-on-ones with scouts and coaches. This is the opportunity for you to do that. So as Jose will say in our interview and sort of our preview to get this whole thing rolling, just what all it takes to make it happen and what all we can expect. And it's not just the NFL, it's not just the CFL. In case you didn't know, the Alliance of American Football, the AAF, and the XFL are coming, and they're going to need talent. We do talk about that as well. So without further ado, any more delay, here is the man of the hour, Jose Jefferson, on just what it takes to get the College Gridiron Showcase put together each and every year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me once again is your favorite Jose Jefferson, one of the heads, one of the minds behind College Gridiron Showcase, and the countdown is officially underway. We are 57 days away, and Jose, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if I like how you said 57 days. It makes me nervous.
So for you then, is this like Christmas right now? Like, because this is your baby, you know, and now that we've got everything sort of set, it's like the Christmas tree has gone up, the decorations are out, and now we're making sure that we bought all the presents for the kids.
You know, it's more like taking a final exam. That's what it's like. It really is. There's, you know, Christmas is anxiety about, you know, waiting for it to get here, to where 57 days, 157 days, I'm still stressing, you know, until you get down there to actually see it work. And I joke all the time, but I run CGS every year the same way, like it's my first year. Yeah, you know, like we're not going to get enough guys, and we're not going to get enough sponsors, and no one's going to like us. So it kind of, that mechanism in my head to work harder. So no, it's very short nights, a lot of phone calls. Seems like I'm on the phone from 7 or 8 in the morning to 10 and 11 at night, just either with our staff, agents, scouts, coaches, you name it. You know, it's that time of year where my cell phone numbers or minutes go up, my texts go up, and I think it's funny because, you know, most people do about 5, you know, maybe 10,000 texts in a month, just depending on who you are, and I'm uppers around 30,000 texts easily. Yeah, and it's the easiest way for me to communicate, because working a day job and whatnot, but people know and that's one of the biggest things with CGS is our accessibility. I've had agents and scouts say that we haven't realized we're big time yet, which I still don't believe we're big time, because we answer the phone and we answer text and we get back with people. So it's amazing. So I'm excited, yet to me it's more like the final exam. If we can get everything done the way I want to get it done, and then when we, you know, touch ground in Fort Worth, and you'll see me, I'm like, you know, the duck on the water, you know, smooth on top, but, you know, working like heck underneath, you know. So that's always, you know, that's the story of my life right there.
So what you're saying is that if I want to be taken seriously, I just need to not answer my phone or respond to my text messages anymore.
You know, that it seems to be the norm. I guess I'm doing it wrong, because I do pay attention to those things. And I tell people this all the time. My motto is, whether it's 24 seconds or 24 hours, I will get back to you in between that time frame. You know, so I do not blow people off. I hate when people do that to me. And I was told by one of my coaching mentors that if he ever heard me not returning a phone call, that me and him were done. You know, return every phone call, because you never know. And so even if it's a text or whatever, but just acknowledge the fact that somebody called you and give them a call back. So anybody who's listening right now, know that I will call you back if you call me.
Well, it's very big of you, Coach, because clearly, yeah, there is a lot on your plate. Now, the last time that you and I spoke, we were getting ready for what will be a weekly special here on the show, covering all aspects of the CGS up until the big week for CGS. So where are you at now? Once 60 days hit, which it seemed like was kind of a period of time that you wanted to make sure that you pointed out that I was aware of, is 60 significant in something, or is it that a deadline is come and gone? Like, where are you at right now with everything, and what left do you have to do?
Well, 60 days is kind of the recruiting benchmark per se, because beforehand we're doing sponsorships, we're setting up the hotel, we're setting up meals, we're setting up transportation, we're talking with the staff, quite extensively about their roles. We're doing more of the operations thing, to where a lot of people don't see that. Making sure that people are getting from the airport to the hotel, making sure that food is there, making sure the field is ready, making sure our staff understands their roles, making sure who our staff is. And so when we get to 60 days, it's kind of the benchmark of, we're kind of going to leave that behind a little bit, and we're going to start recruiting. We're going to get we're going to fill the bowl right now, so to say. And that's the fun part for me, to where I get back into the coaching mode. I get back into the talent mode of breaking down a kid, seeing, and I've learned this over the years, that instead of trying to build a team, because that's what I've done like the first couple of years, I look at it, okay, if I was building a team, would I get this kid? Now it looks like I look at it as, can this help somebody? Can this kid help a team? Does he have something that somebody will like? Let's look at his body of work. Let's look at his measurables, and then I don't have a job for these kids. I just put them in front of somebody who can get them a job. And so I enjoy that part. And that's why I say when 60 days rolls around, it's almost to the end of some people's seasons. So we know we're going to get a lot of commits. My birthday's next week. So it's a big time for me right now to be excited. But then again, that's when the real work happens, because we have to get over 300 athletes, down to Fort Worth here in the next 60 days.
So which would you say is the harder job? Is it getting the scouts and the recruits convinced that what you're doing is worth their time, or is it getting the players to say, you might as well check this out and come down here? Like, is it player or scout?
And, I think it's player, if I'd have to pick, but because the scouts are convinced that what we're doing is good. And the reason why I say that is, a perfect example, the New York Giants usually send about 3 or 4 scouts. Wow. And since we've you say that now, but now they've told us they're sending 8 because of all the kids we have. And that's just...
Go. All right, we got you back, Jose.
Yes, and sorry about that. But now the Giants are sending 8 scouts. And the reason being is because they are realizing that not only are we giving them quality kids, we're giving them a lot of quality kids. And if you're a scout, Richard, you're a scout. If you're recruiting a kid out of Texas Tech, Arizona State, Idaho State, University of Colorado, and that's pretty much a region for probably a scout, wouldn't you want to just come to CGS and see all 4 of those kids?
Yeah.
And knock it out. And that's what we try to do. And so the reason why I say the players are tougher, because right now you got a lot of players right now that, they wouldn't be able to, tell their rear end from a hole in the ground right now, because there's so much, I'm serious. There's so much stuff going on in their lives right now, because it's a battle of highs and lows. The high of being a senior, and knowing this is your last year, and then that low of it being over, the high of the next level, but the low of not knowing what's going on. And so we send out invites, and some kids will jump on them right away. And it seems like that's been how it's been for the last week, that as soon as we invite a kid, boom, they're accepted. And it's like, whoa, which is different. And from what I'm hearing from scouts and even agents is that with the competition of getting into events and the postseason being so tough, that the kids are getting these invites and saying yes, So it's definitely an ordeal for me to experience it. But it's like every year I feel like we're not going to get enough kids, and then we have an abundance.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that, because I was like, I'm going to ask this question and he's going to say players, and it's going to not surprise me at all. But it still kind of does, because you'd think that as a player, you'd be hungry for any opportunity that could benefit you. But I wonder if, obviously you and I were friends with, and we follow a lot of the same people on Facebook from the indoor and arena leagues, and young aspiring players who sometimes they toot their horn a little bit louder than maybe they should be. Is that kind of the feeling that you get from these players, that maybe it's harder to convince them to come than others, like they're better than this, even though it's like, how can you say that?
Well, there's guys that have been told for the last 4 years how great they are, and right now they're starting over again, and you've got kids that are up for awards, whether it be the Heisman or the Harlan Hill or the Walter Payton or whatever award it is they're up for, and now you are telling them you got to come and prove yourself again, and some kids aren't, some kids are like, well, I got to do that. A perfect example is that A.J. McCarron from Alabama. He did not go to the Senior Bowl because he said my body of work spoke for itself. And, I'm not saying he has a bad career, but I'm just saying, I think he started maybe less than a handful of games in his career now. I mean, you don't know who you're going to impress, when you're in front of a whole bunch of scouts. We had a kid last year, Chad Canoff, who's a quarterback at Princeton. And out of the 4 quarterbacks, I probably would say he was maybe 2 or 3, not the best one that we had, but definitely not the number 4. But right now, he's the only one that is active as a quarterback right now because of who he impressed. And it's I call it the Tim Tebow theory. Back when Tim Tebow came out, we all thought maybe 3rd or 4th round, position change, call it a career. 26th pick because somebody liked him.
Yeah.
and that's all you need is one team to like you. And we bring all 32 teams and then all these scouts, and all you have to do is get one scout to like you, to want to stand on the table to say, we need this kid. So the players, they're the selfish point of their life, where we all were at 22 years old, king of the world, we're invulnerable, and we can handle everything. And now you're going to go get scrutinized, good and bad, by scouts, agents, media, whomever, for this next level. So it's an interesting process.
So when it comes to booking guys, obviously you have your repeat offenders, the guys that are going to come and enjoy your event each time as a scout because they believe in what you do. But we have the emergence of the All-American, or the Alliance of American Football. I'll get that right eventually. And then, of course, the XFL is coming up in a couple of years. Right. What has it been like to reach out to them? Have they reached out to you? Because obviously they're going to need talent, and you have a spot to see some talent.
Well, as long as we have to spoon feed them the way we spoon feed the NFL, and that's not saying that's a bad thing. We provide a service, and the service is players, accessibility, and those leagues want to be treated as such. And so we roll out the red carpet for them as well too. We inform them of who we are, which most of them know who we are anyway, because they're either former scouts. Case in point, Phil Savage. I know Phil from Senior Bowl. Now he's in Phoenix, so he knows who I am. He knows what we do. But if you look at some of those rosters, all 8 teams, probably about a good 40% of those rosters are from CGS kids dated back from 2015. So they know full well who we are and full well of what we're capable of bringing in, because they're using our guys right now. So it's not hard to convince them. The hard part, is always trying to outdo yourself from the year before. And so with these new leagues, we have to, well, we already got your players now. What more can you do for us? It is truly a what have you done for me lately type of situation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could see that playing a big factor. Well, I'm glad to hear that, at least there's a method to it and that you've somewhat mastered it and that you know what needs to be done. And
I'm glad you think so.
I imagine you have, people that will speak, that will give you a solid recommendation if you're trying to open up new doors from before. But
it does. I mean, one of our sponsors, in fact, that presents the podcast, KT Tape, they rave about us, and I love KT Tape. Ed Terrace, who's president of KT Tape, is a big supporter of ours, a big backer of ours. He calls us promoters, and they love the fact that we take everybody, put us in, his product was on Bracelet and last year's Super Bowl.
Wow.
I mean, it's like the mob says, who knew? And so, because we didn't know that was going to happen. And, I don't know how all of it transpired, but he credits us because KT Tape is not a sponsor of the Patriots or vice versa. But he knew that he talked to some people at the Patriots with this tape, and next thing you know, it's already something. You don't know what you want to do. So they've been great with us. And then the sponsors that we've picked up, like what we do, Signature Bank is one of them that has come along. Our director of operations has spoken to them, and they're coming, and they're new to us. We're just excited to promote the product, and we're just trying to get people who want to do the thing we do, which is try to be a person we didn't have when we were coming out in this situation or any situation, and are able to help and promote these young men.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great mindset and mentality, and of course your relationship with KT Tape, it's proved to be a very lucrative one and a good one there. Now, for me, when I travel, there's a huge checklist that I have to go through, and the reason that I have a checklist now is because I burned myself a couple of times where, I have all this equipment, and for a lot of it, I have, either travel only if I'm doing an on-site thing, or a duplicate of it, so that in case one goes bad or one doesn't work, I have a backup. But there's still a few things that I have just one of, and it's the cord that connects from my soundboard to the computer, which is kind of a important cord to have. So if I forget so much as just one of those things, it can ruin my whole day, and it's something that a lot of people overlook. In your world, in the world of CGS and getting prepped, what is probably one of the most important yet overlooked aspects of what you have to do to make this thing happen?
I don't know if it's what I have to do, but it's who I have to do it with, and I think it's my staff. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I have an excellent staff. I have great people who believe in the mission, who believe in what we're doing is correct. And I spent the first couple of years of CGS, me and Craig, doing it ourselves. I mean, every single last aspect, every single last job, banging it out, us two doing it alone. And it was not fun. And along the way, we've picked up people who are passionate about what we do and passionate about football. And I can tell you right now, they have spoiled me. And I don't think we could do what we do now without them. That's just being truthful. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not, trying to give a plug. It's just truth that we have got so many good people. I mean, even you coming down this year, I can't do a podcast. I can't do those things. I can't interview players. I can't put it in other people's ears and video. I don't do that stuff. And so that is a huge part of getting us out. And that's a piece of the pie with our registration people. I have the best registration people in the business. I have a great hotel manager. My director of operations, my partner, Craig Red, is amazing. They are tireless, and you love them. Michael Ruddleman, who helps us, our coaching staff is amazing. They love football. And that's honestly, I dread the fact that I if I have to lose one of them or something happens it's tough,
Yeah.
So that's just being real, because everything else is going to happen whether I like it or not. The days keep ticking down. You know, the hotel is going to want their money. The convention center is going to want their money. Everybody's going to want something, and that's all well and good. But the people that make me want to do it outside of the players are the people that are standing next to me, you know, trudging along and you know, keeping the fight going. And I love it. You know, we have great staff meetings, which you'll be a part of, and you should film them because they're hilarious. I mean, it's a soundbite and things like that is just are huge for us to have and be able to laugh and be able to relax at the end of the day. And quite honestly, there are things that I look forward to the most when it's a little stressful, that we sit and we have a debrief, and next thing you know, I'm laughing so hard I'm crying, and then I have to go to bed. You know. I don't want you to drop. But that's probably about the most important thing that I can think of, quite honestly.
Yeah, and I understand it, you know, because it is a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and we're going to talk more about that as our countdown to the 2019 College Gridiron Showcase continues. This is the first of a series that we're doing. We are 57 days away. It will be happening January 5th through the 9th in Fort Worth, Texas at McNair Stadium, and very excited to be a part of it, not just from a media standpoint, but just a part of it in general. So we're going to have another one next week. We're going to do these, release these every Thursday. But Jose, thank you for starting things off here, and we look forward to getting some inside scoop and getting to know more and more about CGS. So I want to thank you again for coming on and kicking things off here on the show.
Nope, I appreciate it. Appreciate you. And as I always say, CGS on and on. That's what we're going to keep doing, on and on.
All right, CGS on and on. He is Jose Jefferson, and Jose, take care. Don't lose too much sleep. You need it; it's important. So try to pencil it in when you can, where you have available. But we'll talk to you real soon.
All righty, take care, Richard. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, once again, that was Jose Jefferson. Big thank you to him, and the opportunity to do these little 30-minute specials here each and every week as we continue the countdown to CGS 2019. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on everything happening with CGS, following them on major social media. CGS All-Star is your @ for them on Facebook and Twitter. CGSAllstar.com is their home base, their website. And don't forget to check out KT Tape, KTTape.com. If you're an athlete or you're just very athletic, I would suggest KT Tape. All the things that I've heard about them, very good. And you know me here in the show, I don't endorse somebody unless I believe in them, and that goes the same for KT Tape. And obviously, I'm not an athlete, and I'm not even very athletic, but Jose speaks very highly of them, and I am inclined to take his word for it. So, but don't take mine, don't take his. Go and check out KT Tape today, and we will be back next week with another CGS exclusive and special. 57 days away from seeing what the future holds for college and its athletes, and there's even a free agent event to start off the whole thing, something that they're doing this year, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I am so thrilled again to be a part of this, and I just wish Jose all the best. Can't wait to meet his staff and everybody that's going to be down there. Going to be such an opportunity, and yeah, I think I've pretty much said everything I need to in this first one. So this is the first of a series of specials we're going to do every week here on the Fan Show. So subscribe, like, follow, all of the above, CGS All-Star, Fan Show Official, or the Fan Show, and subscribe, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you with more CGS All-Star exclusive content right here on the Fan Show.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.